Ladies and gentlemen, it's patch time. This always happens. They put a DLC out, and then about a week later, 2 weeks later, we get a little cheeky patch. They get a bit of information about what the really broken stuff is, any sort of bugs that may have been introduced into the game during the gigantic update, and they got to fix it. And here they come. So let's have a little cheeky look-see here. At all the other good stuff. So we got some Japanese god portrait updates. Many Japanese major and minor god portraits have received minor tweaks to improve their quality. We are also pleased to announce that an alternate Shrine Maiden version of the Ame no Uzume minor god portrait is available to all players who own the Heavenly Spear DLC. That's nice. Thank you very much. The version that was present for launch remains the default appearance. So I guess that's this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like there's the right amount of fingers there. Okay, we can't be making those jokes again. Okay. Reminder that you can change the portrait. Okay, yada yada yada. Keyboard and mouse map update. You can now choose to cycle between 3 size states for the minimap while playing with keyboard and mouse instead of the previous 2 states. The choice to enlarge the map bigger and better than before will give you more control to view it in your preferred way. So there's 3 different sizes there, which is exciting. You can see them down the bottom. I was using this size. That's what a lot of other people are using this size. I think this is probably the nicest size here. I like that size there. Anyways, onwards and upwards the game. Got some stability and performance fixes. There was seemingly some frame losses I was experiencing. I don't know. Hopefully some of that stuff is getting fixed up, and then we got some localization translations getting updated. We use some of the other stuff, got the graphics getting fixed, got the audio stuff happening getting fixed, got some hotkeys. Remove non-functional find all Imperial Academies and find Imperial Academy hotkey entries. These are part of the find stable hotkeys. I was actually having someone ask me this before, and they're like, "Where's my Imperial Academy hotkey?" And I'm like, "It's the stable one." So they've done that there. Hopefully they have a little slash there that says Imperial Academies now. Okay, so the UI fixed a bug that caused right-clicking on a selected building's UI to set its gather point behind the UI. Added new loading screen tooltips for the Japanese Panther for grammatical errors, yada, yada, yada. Anything interesting here for the UI? Attack move cursor is now correctly displayed while holding shift. Okay, fixed a bug. Emoji characters are now detected and shown as a replacement Unicode character if the game can not interpret them. Okay, tell the lifespan. Fixed a bug. Okay. Gameplay. The relic Shen of Nekbet will no longer affect non-naval myth units. This case where an army was moving incorrectly during a replay. This might fix all of the out of syncs. Hopefully, they were having a lot of out of syncs in the replays, and it was making life very hard for me and anyone else who wanted to go back and watch their own recorded game and figure out what was going on. Forest fire can no longer be cast over Gyron units. Okay, fixed bug that can be target moved, spider lair. Okay, nothing really. Miko no longer appears as an idle villager. Ooh, I don't know if I like that. I was using that as like my way to set the Miko up. Like I would go and like midway through a game, say I had like 3 Miko at the start, right? And then midway through a game, I'm at like 50, 60 villages or something. I just go, all right, I need some more Miko for more favor. I would just go into my town centers and I would just queue up like 2 Miko, 1 Miko in each town center. And then I wouldn't change the waypoints. I just send the Miko out to whatever resource I had the town center queued to. And then when it showed up as idle, I would move them. So now, how do I do that? Oh, God. Oh, no. I'm going to have to use my brain a little bit. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. All right, so I got the myth units. Rock, Sobek adjust as follows. The cooldown for landing and takeoff has been removed. So how do I kill it with my heroes, with my melee heroes? What the hell? Huh? Okay, all right. I get it. The rock is kind of hard to use. Like, You can't just waltz into your opponent's base, go right next to their gold mine, unload the entirety of your army, kill their gold mine, then garrison you back in the rock and then run away and take 0 damage and have no risk to do that. Like, I get it. You can't do that anymore. That's a good thing. Literally, a good thing. The way you use the rock now is you sneak in behind enemy lines, outside of line of sight, you land, right? And then you ungarrison your units, you run in, you kill all of the enemy villagers on their gold mine because, you know, you went behind their lines, you were sneaky. You run back into the rock, you pick the rock up, and you fly away, and you take no damage. It's a little bit different. It makes a world of difference to the mental of the other player, though. If the other player, if your opponent sees the rock, they see it flying in, they're playing Norse or something, they're playing something with like slow ranged heroes, right? It's just like even Egyptian, right? They see the rock flying in, they're like, shit, got to get over there, run over there with my dudes. Oh crap, they're already landed. Oh, okay. I lost all my villagers. Great, I'm gonna try. Oh, okay, he's already picked up his rock and he's gone. I can't say I'm a fan of this change. I know the rock maybe is a bit clunky and maybe there's something that can be done for it, but I'm fairly sure I'm going to get really frustrated versus this unit. Enjoy. The Ballista Tower has now had damage increase from 33% to 50%. I don't mind this. It's a nice buff to the Egyptian late game, which is a little bit lackluster. So this will be a nice one if you guys are going to go into Ballista Towers in the late game. These towers are pretty strong, but I believe it's better to be making Migdols because of the fortifications tech. So, I mean, you've got a limited amount of Migdols and then you start spamming towers, right? But anyways, Crossbow Tower has been reduced as well. I imagine that the Crossbow Tower and the Ballista Tower probably have a similar amount of DPS now. So we'll see. And that's the only changes for anything other than the Japanese Pantheon, because everyone and their mum has been complaining about the Japanese Pantheon, about Amaterasu in particular, and also about certain Susanoo being a little bit underperforming. So we'll see what little changes have happened here. We've got the Bushido gold trickle rates per tier reduced by 0.5 per second. Does this mean we start with 1 still, or do we start with 0.5 now? That'll be interesting. One of the cool things about Amaterasu is you didn't have to put any villagers onto gold in the archaic age, which kind of made your life very, very easy. So we'll see. The Solar Shield God Power has now been reduced from 15 to 10 seconds, so it's a little bit less oppressive. It's still going to heal everything up. You've still got the Weasel to do some stuff. I don't see anything here on Bushido for the Samurai, which makes me a little bit concerned, but I will keep going. Bushido XP gained per favor spent on completed technologies increased from 1 to 5. For example, a technology costing 115 favor went from 115. Okay, that's fine. I wouldn't have even been mad if this was like 1 to 10, but I don't know what that would have actually changed there. But 1 to 5. I don't think that Tsukiyomi is necessarily struggling, by the way. I think he's new, and I think a lot of players are struggling to come to grips with this god, and it will take... Because it's so well... Hear me out. Because I think the Japanese Civ is so well designed, it's kind of like if you were to jump in and try and pilot Atlantean for the first time, right? If you don't remember back to the launch of Retold, Atlantean was kind of really bad in a lot of players' hands early days because it was so foreign to what they already knew. So they had to like work out how to play inside of that thing. I think Tsukiyomi is one of those gods that is like decent. Maybe not. I wouldn't go ahead and say he's like overpowered or S tier, but he's like sitting in a really nice balanced spot that doesn't really need buffs or nerfs. Just needs some time to kind of sit there and mellow out and work out all the problem matchups and how to play around those things and stuff like that. That's my opinion. I could be wrong on that, but you know, it is what it is. And now Susanoo. Before we go on to Susanoo, I want to just say, I think this god is the most dangerously designed of the Japanese gods. I haven't done a video on this because it doesn't really matter, but he has S tier potential. If he gets if he gets put into the right spot, he is going to be an absolute menace at the top level. So that being said, in the very limited amount of playing that I've had on this guy, I think I have around about 4 hours of straight Susanoo playing and some random games here or there through Random God. I think he's actually kind of close, but he's really, really difficult to play right now. So on a scale of like super difficult to play, but still weak, doesn't really work. You got to have like super difficult to play, and when you nail it, you get rewarded, right? Otherwise, it doesn't work. If, you can't have like this. So my current feelings towards the god is he needs some either cheaper temples so you can get your favor spend out in game. So I would like say half price temple would be kind of cool for Susanoo, or even half price or even half price shrines would be really nice for his kit, but as just starter. But we'll see what they're going to do here. So the Bushido passive XP from myth units increased by 2x. So it seems like what they're going for here is they're trying, instead of taking the Bushido down from what Amaterasu is, which is quite fast, it seems like they're trying to push the numbers up for Susanoo and Tsukiyomi, which probably a little bit dangerous, but we'll see. Kusanagi is adjusted from 25 favor to 20 favor, retreat plus 10 to 5, delayed border attack. Really? That's a wild change. I do think this god power is really good. I don't really see any weakness in this god power at all. So I'm surprised on that. If you compare it over to say Shockwave, it's kind of like Shockwave, but it does more damage. Obviously, it's the delayed attack damage. It's different, and it is a different god power, but it is similar. Anyways, I'm a bit surprised on this, but we'll see. It's a nice little boost there for Susanoo to have some advantage, and maybe if the way that this god functions is just live or die based on how well you can use Kusanagi, so be it. So we'll see what happens in the minor gods here. We've got the Hachiman Golden Kite adjusts as follows: range soldier and hero damage increase from 10% to 15%. The 15% hero damage now also applies to Miko and Shogun. Okay, Dan no Ura tactics now applies to the Wassen instead of the ramming Wassen. The change now ensures the icon actually represents the unit to which the technology applies. I can't remember what this was, but the Wassen is the archer ship. Okay, so let's talk about Hachiman. Hachiman is let me think. So the best heroic age god right now for Japan, in my opinion, is the one with the Raijin. Raijin is the best one, the one who has the Thunderdome. And then the other two I thought were kind of situationally really good. Hachiman being really, really good if your opponent's got any amount of myth units out, or if you're going into if you need to shoot and scoot with the horse archers a lot, or the what's the other one? The one with the Oni. It's not Takamikazushi. I can't remember. The one with the Oni. This one was really, and the Smiting Gust is really, really good situationally against, say, like China or like a Hades or something that you have to like make a big push to catch them out. It was really, really nice with those ones. So I don't really see there's a problem to boost this god, but maybe people just thought it wasn't really enough damage. So we'll see. Okay, so we've got the Taka Mikazuchi. So this is the Divine Slash, which is now going to be reduced by 0.5 seconds. It was at 3 seconds total before it got its damage done, which is a little bit too easy to dodge. I still think you're going to be able to dodge it, but I do wonder if there's going to be some stuff with, like, I was doing some testing. If I do Takamikazuchi with the I'm just going to keep calling it Thunderdome. I know it's not called Thunderdome. With the Thunderdome, you can like link it up so it'll hit at the right time and you can get a bunch of damage done guaranteed with it, but it's 2 god powers. So it's very, very expensive. So I'm glad to see that one, but this is still, if this hits, it does so much damage. Okay, so this is the Raijin Heavenly Barge. This is the Son of Osiris ships. Divine damage being reduced from 5 to 3. I don't know what this is compared to what they would normally be doing. I don't know what the bonus is. It's hard to judge how good this tech is without just seeing it in action. But the big thing that this does is allows those siege ships on hybrid maps to absolutely wipe out human units as well as the archer ships and enemy siege ships. The only thing I think that beats them is the hammer ships. But anyways, I like that that's been nerfed. It was a very silly tech. Hopefully it's in a better spot now. Okay, so we've got the myth units. Tengu damage increased from 16 to 20. I was actually thinking these guys are really good. I'm surprised to see the boost here, but I still am yet to actually try it, so I can't really speak on it. But from my experience with the unit, specifically against the campaign, it felt really good in the campaign. That being said, in the campaign, it was 20% stronger than normal, so that could have been what I was feeling there. Okay, we've got the Shinigami, because I was playing on Ludicrous. Okay, so Shinigami here, just as follows. Special attack now is 2x multiplier versus myth units. It should, and that should. Reincarnate goes go. That's all fine. I don't think this is a weak unit either. I think this just is supposed to be on there. It's just a kind of more a bug fix. Deer Caravan, it was, okay, and the fishing ship in the Deer Caravan was just lower than intended. Okay, and then we've got the Honnengyo, the torpedo, special attack, and only throws up the units to a size. Okay. And then we've got the campaign, just having some fixes there, and the modding and editor and stuff here, doing all that stuff. You guys can read that if you're interested in it. And yep, coming up, it's been an amazing, gratifying first week of the Heavenly Spear and Gauntlet release for the team. Beta. I'm going to see some updates. I'm excited. As much as you're enjoying the game's expansion, we are enjoying watching the video reviews, post streams, and memes, and seeing that the long hours of planning, execution, and hard work have resulted in such a positive payoff. We deeply appreciate the time and thoughtfulness the community puts into these pieces of content and feedback. We also know there is always room for improvement, whether in balance tweaks or bug fixes. So please know we are reading and listening. Speaking of community responses, the Pantheon pinup turnout this month is absolutely on fire. Hats off to you all for the epic turnout and participation. Please let us know in the forums what you have enjoyed about this event and what you would like to see more of. Coming up next, we will be focused on further balance items in the Japanese Pantheon, as well as some initial tweaks for the Gauntlet. After that, we would like to see community feedback over a slightly longer period as we determine and plan for any potential updates for our current content. All right, I guess my takeaway from this is a very, very light patch. The Japanese Pantheon has not been overperforming like the Chinese was when it was released. There aren't any broken, stupid, like uncounterable strategies. For example, the Tower Rush from release, or some of the stupid Mythic Age things that was happening with China. And I think the devs are kind of understanding this. They probably missed. They may have gone a little too soft on Amaterasu, but we'll see. She is at like a 60% win rate, which, while I don't normally care that much about win rates on the ladder, when it comes to a brand new god, which is very complicated in my opinion, seeing a brand new god at 60% win rate, kind of, you start getting alarm bells going off, and I'm like, hang on. So it's a really hard, like a really foreign god, which has got a brand new sort of favor mechanic and brand new unit structure. And it's, no one really knows what's going on, and yet she's beating everything. So what's going on there? So it could just be that it's really simple to play Amaterasu, simpler than maybe everyone thinks, and it's a way through. And then it's just going to be get like people unlocking how to play against the Amaterasu game plan and figuring out that, and then maybe the win rate will just come down naturally, which is definitely possible. But I think as far as what I've heard most people saying around this, and you guys can let me know what you guys think in the comments, the big thing about this god is that the Bushido is just ticking so fast. You get out a bunch of samurai, and you can kind of just camp with the samurai, which maybe is a part of the Amaterasu game plan, right? Maybe you want to just sit there. That's like how it's designed, and you're supposed to take an advantage elsewhere. If someone's going to camp and sit there with samurai, you can grab town centers and get yourself an economic advantage, etc. But yeah, she is finding a huge advantage through just spamming out samurai, which is obviously her bonus, and she's supposed to do that, but it seemed to be too strong compared to the other gods. But now the other gods are also getting extra Bushido, so we'll see. I'm excited to try out Susanoo again. I did play a whole bunch of games with him, and I did find some nice wins and some pretty quick brutal losses as well. But yeah, we'll see. I'm excited to try it all. Hopefully we see more patches coming. They did say they're doing that. Anyways, if you guys have any questions or thoughts or queries or ideas or anything, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next one.